So what's up, guys? So today I'm down here on the Malecon here in Santo Domingo Este. Actually, I was coming over here to go to a cigar bar and have a drink. And so I decided, hey, let me stop over here in this area, because I really like this area, man. Every time I pass by here, I just like the way it looks with all the palm trees and how they're just, you know, some of them are slanted, some of them are straight up. It just looks nice. So if I'm gonna turn the camera on, let you guys take a look at it. So yes, this is the area that I'm in Santo Domingo Este. I said, why not just stop over here, record a video, and just have a little conversation. And so what I decided to talk about today is, because I get asked this question a lot by people I meet, or me and my wife meet, who come over here, and we just recently got asked this question when we met with some people not too long ago. And that question is how long did it take you to get situated here or adjust here in Dominican Republic? You know what, to be honest with you, I never really even thought about it. You know, I never really thought about how long it took me to actually get adjusted. When they asked that particular question, you know, I had to really think about it for a minute. And like I say, even though we get asked this a lot, I just never really, you know, never really gave it any thought. I always say, hey, you know what? Hey, it didn't take long. But after giving it some real consideration, I would say it took me probably about 2 years, if not 2.5 years, to get fully adjusted, or what I would say acclimated. Because understand that being tolerable of something, which you can be tolerable of a whole lot of things, and being acclimated is two different things. So tolerable means, oh yeah, I tolerate the traffic, or I could tolerate the heat while I'm here for a week or a month or, you know, a year or whatever. But being acclimated meaning you have adjusted, got accustomed to the way of life, the way of living, and everything about a certain place or a situation. And I could say that I have gotten totally acclimated to the culture of Dominican Republic, man. And when they asked me that question, it did have me thinking, because I was like, you know what? I do feel comfortable here in the country. And you may ask yourself, so how do you define that? Or how do you come to that point where you feel comfortable? And I think one of the things is that, and this may be the most important thing, is nothing really bothers me here anymore. You know, nothing really bothers me. Like, the traffic doesn't bother me. We go out and it's a whole bunch of traffic. I understand that it's a way of life. It's nothing that I'm gonna be able to change. So if I'm not gonna be able to change it, why will I even concern myself about it? You know what I'm saying? And I know that's one of the main things a lot of people talk about is traffic. And I get it when they say that, but sometimes it's like, why are you worrying about the traffic? It's not like you gotta go to work here. You know, especially when it comes to foreigners. I understand people who live here and who have to commute, but when you're a foreigner and most of you don't have a car, why does it matter that you're sitting in the back of an Uber in traffic while the air conditioner is blowing? What difference does it make? Where do you gotta go? Where do you have to be at a certain time that if you don't get there on time, that place is no longer gonna be there, or or it's gonna change, or the place is gonna be gone? And the answer to that is nowhere. So just relax. So that's what I've come to do, is I've come to understand how to relax here in terms of when it comes with the traffic. Another thing that I've become acclimated with, I've become acclimated with the climate. Like, the heat doesn't bother me anymore. At one point, it used to bother me. And when I say bother me, it wouldn't bother me, it'd irritate me because it was always hot. And when you're coming from a place like, you know, Alabama, coming over here and it's always, and even though Alabama was humid, it always had its 4 seasons. So it wasn't hot all the time. And I know you're gonna say, but you were living in Florida too. Yeah, even Florida. Florida was hot in the summertime, but there were times in the wintertime, what we say around the October all the way to the, you know, February, March area where it wasn't 85, 95 degrees. You know, even in the nighttime, it'll get cooler. Here, it's hot all the damn time, all the time. Not having that break where there's a temperature that comes around 60 degrees, because in Florida, 65 is cold, even 70 is cold in Florida. And that never happens here. At least I don't remember when it's been 70 degrees. It's always 75, 80 degrees. Matter of fact, it's always, to me, it feels like it's always 80 degrees or more here. But I've become acclimated to the climate here. It just doesn't bother me anymore like it used to. I would always have to turn on my air conditioning. Now I don't have to always turn on my air conditioning, only when I'm asleep. Like throughout the day, I'll just be sitting there with as long as the fan blowing, I got a little breeze on me, I'm cool. That's the Dominican way. You just have your fan on and have the fan blowing and you're good. It's like when my mom comes to visit, she act like she's about to die. And I have to understand that she comes from a place where, even though she's in Alabama, like I said, it's not as always hot. So I think my blood has thinned out a lot living here. From that aspect, from a climate aspect, I am acclimated to the weather here, or the climate. Another thing that I'm acclimated to is the food. Now, I probably was acclimated to that way before I moved here because, of course, I've been with my wife for a while, and, you know, that's all she did was cook. Dominican food, that's what she's good at cooking. So I've been eating that for a long time. However, when you get here, you typically eat it more than you eat it when you're in the States. You know, you just typically eat it more here than it was in the States. So I know that on 5 out of 7 days, I'm gonna be eating me some rice and beans and some chicken and platanos and tostones and things like that. I know that I'm gonna be eating that. So that's something that some people have to get acclimated to. Because I remember somebody telling me one time that, you know, they couldn't eat, they didn't like Dominican food, or it was either that or they were tired of eating it. And that can be possible. You know what I'm saying? That can be possible. You get to the point where you just get tired of eating Dominican food. I've got to that point where I was getting tired of eating. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to eat this anymore. Let me just go to McDonald's. I need to get just a McDonald's burger. You know what I'm saying? Or get me some Pizza Hut or something like that. Something that's besides Dominican food. But for the most part, I've grown accustomed to Dominican food, and I like it, but just as with anything, you don't want to eat it all the time. Because I remember one time that my wife used to cook me this, you know, this Dominican food, and she did it so much. And I used to say, oh, what we're gonna eat today? We're gonna eat some more prison food, because it was the same thing over and over and over again, I say. And so to this day, we still laugh about her cooking prison food for me, or making me prison food. So yeah, the food is something that you have to get acclimated to, because that's what they eat here. And you gotta get accustomed to eating, you know, the beans, the rice, the platano, and things like that. So yes, I've got acclimated to that. And another thing I've got acclimated to is the entire culture. And I know you're gonna say, well, point out something specific. I can point out some things specific, but I'd rather just say the culture in general. I say one thing, like just customer service, how people treat you from a customer service standpoint, that's part of the culture. Those type of things are how the Dominican etiquette is, if there's such a thing called Dominican etiquette. Things like that, I've become accustomed to not expect a whole lot when it comes to business or etiquette. And it's not that I'm saying anything bad about them, but all I'm saying is, coming from the United States, where customer service and business and things like that are ranked high and etiquette is ranked high, that's not the the motto here. That's not what they live by here. So I've come accustomed to that, and I'm acclimated to it. So if something disappoints me, oh yeah, I just move on about my business, man. Now, but that's not all that I mean when it comes to culture. I mean, it's just, just how people are, being friendly, which is a good thing. Coming from the United States, you don't expect it. Being, saying good morning every time you see someone. When you leave the elevator or you finish a conversation with somebody, you say, pasa buen dia, or something like that. And I know I spoke about etiquette, but I think this is one of their good etiquettes, that they always say good morning, and every time you leave after the conversation, they're gonna say pasa buen dia, or something like, I forgot the other one that they say, but I always say pasa buen dia. Like, that's like, have a good day passing or whatever that means, but it's like, have a good day. But they always say that. And another thing they always do is, like if you say thank you, they always say la orden or siempre la orden and things like that. And don't get me wrong, you have to get acclimated to the good things too. I'm not gonna just talk about the bad things or the things that I consider like cons, because you do have to get accustomed to some of the good things, like being invited over to the family gatherings, and they always want to dance, and they want to make sure you eat, and sometimes, as Americans, man, we eat, at least I do. I like to eat when I want to eat. I don't like to eat just because it's 12 o'clock or just because you done cook something. I may come over your house and just because you cook something, you want me to eat it, but I may not be hungry. But they always still offer to you, and you got to get accustomed sometimes of the good etiquette. So let me change that if I said something about etiquette as it being a bad thing when I first mentioned being acclimated, because Dominicans have some good etiquette when it comes to, family and friends. Now business, that's a different story. There's no good etiquette in business. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that. It's just either normal or horrible. They don't go above and beyond, that's for sure. So when it comes to culture, it can embody a whole lot of things. It can be bad or good. And I just believe that I've become acclimated to a lot of this, a lot of their culture. And I'm gonna tell you, it has tremendously helped me adjust here in the country. It has made my time enjoyable because I don't walk around with an American mindset or an American attitude. I just acclimate myself to the environment that I'm in. Now, I know you're gonna say, everybody, I can already hear somebody saying, have you acclimated to the language? That I haven't. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I haven't acclimated to the language yet. However, my ears have acclimated to the language. So I remember when I used to come here and I used to hear people speak Spanish, whether it was at the grocery store or even around my wife's family or just anytime. My ears will automatically just tune it out because I knew I didn't understand it, wasn't trying to understand it. That's just how I was at the time. But now my ears have become acclimated. So even when I hear it, I'm picking up on certain words and I'm trying to, make out what they're saying. So that part, I think I have improved on because I'm not like I was when I hear them talking, I was like, whatever. I don't know what they're talking about, I don't care. But now it's not that way. Except when it's like, when my wife's and her family and all of them are talking about something, and it's none of my business. I'm not over there trying to figure out what they're saying. Just say, for instance, my wife is, talking to someone about a problem that we had at the house, or, maybe she's talking to the person about our car. I'm listening, and I'm picking up on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to see the words she's using, how she's using it, what they're talking about, things like that, things that I think are important. I'm listening to it and I'm picking up on it. So I'm getting acclimated and actually understanding the language. Now, I know I could do a better job if I focus myself in trying to learn the language. However, I haven't done that. And I know people say, well, why haven't you been over there 3 years? Well, let me tell you this. When you're focused on making sure that your family is safe, secure, and has a roof over their head, food, clothes, and all that stuff, the last thing that's on my mind is trying to learn the language at this point. You know, if I was retired and I wasn't doing anything, that'd be an acceptable critique of me. But my business is done in English every day. I'm talking, I'm writing, and all that stuff in English. So once I'm finished my work day and making the money and all that type of stuff, the last thing I want to do is spend 2 or 3 hours trying to learn another language. And not saying, like I say, it may sound like an excuse, and it may be to some, but to me it's not an excuse. Now I do at times listen to a lot of Spanish music and things like that to try to learn it, but I haven't really focused my energy on it as of yet. So, but we're gonna get to that. Don't be too hard on me, man. I'm definitely gonna get to it. Man, look at that city over here, man. Let me show y'all this right here. This is nice. I don't know if y'all can see that in the background. That's the city of Santo Domingo, right over there. Those are some of the things, and there may be more, but those are just the ones that came in my mind when people ask me, how do I adjust here, how long it took me. It took about 2 years and maybe 2.5 years for me to just fully be acclimated here, where I realized that, I mean, this is home now. And like I say, tolerating something and being acclimated is 2 different things. I'm living here, so tolerating it is not an option. I have to be able to adjust, and that's what I'm doing while I'm living here in the DR. So until then, guys, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And guys, let me say this before I go. I know I ended the video, but if you stayed around, you'll see this. One thing I like about DR, and I'm not saying nobody else or other cultures do this, because I don't know. I speak about DR because this is where I am, and this is what I see. I love the fact that these people can come out here and they just find them some shade, and they come out here with their family, their kids, they bring some food, and they're just enjoying themselves. Just enjoying themselves. I mean, they're having a ball doing this, and I love it. I love to see it. I wish that American culture would have continued along that same path of community, family. Instead, we chose the path of individualism, and I think that has a lot to do with why there's this breakdown. But anyway, I ain't gonna get into that, but I love to see this. I love to see this. It just makes me feel that not all is lost just because where I'm from seems to be spiraling out of control. So, guys, that's all I have. I'm out.
I'm old enough to know where I went wrong. Don't tell me what to say, I won't listen anyway. I'm waiting for